Employees have been urged to report for work today after the 4-week strike which affected the sectors and ended yesterday when a wage agreement was reached by the National Union of Metalworkers of South Africa, Numsa, and the employers. The union members accepted the 10% annual pay rise fixed for 3 years for its lowest paid workers. To talk more, we are joined in studio by Kaizer Nyatsumba, who is the CEO of the Steel and Engineering Industries Federation of South Africa, and also Irvin Jim, who is the Numsa General Secretary. Gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to the program. A 4-week-long strike. You must be relieved that it's over, especially Seifsa's side.
Certainly. I personally am very relieved. I do know our members are immensely relieved. We had a council meeting yesterday, and so we were delighted that finally we've managed to strike an agreement, to enter into an agreement that sees workers returning to work today.
Yeah. Now, from Numsa's side, do you see this as a massive victory?
Part of a mixed bag.
Yeah.
I mean, workers go on a strike with very solid intention about what they want to achieve. However, then there's no strike that has ever been settled on the basis of the demands that you would have left the plant for. I think to the extent that our members have, in all 9 provinces, having reflected on the report which was guided by the National Executive Committee on Sunday, which felt that there was a need to go back to members, not to decide for them, but to raise the fact that we think that that time has arrived to accept that we should settle. And in all 9 provinces, unanimously, all our members basically, in majority, supported the settlement.
What is the settlement? Just talk us through it.
Well, the settlement on wages, we received 10-10-10, okay. Which basically a worker who earn around 5,300 will get about 5,900 now, and which is not a lot of money, but it's an improvement. You would appreciate that in this country, one of the things that we need to sort out, we need to deal with the question of a colonial wage that continues to date, because, I mean, we can live on 5,900, but to the extent that people used to earn at the lowest end 5,300, we see it as an improvement.
Yeah.
And we also dealt with a couple of other issues that relate to training. For instance, there's a commitment between us and Seifsa that we will approach Meseta and government to say that those workers who want to be trained, who want to participate in apprenticeship to develop their skills, they will no longer resign before they participate in training, because we used to have a situation where if workers want to train, they would have to resign, and therefore they would have to lose wages. So we have secured that.
Okay.
There's been a big issue around short time, where basically in this industry, unlike other industries, there's been no short time fund which help workers when the economy is depressed. And as things stand, we secured an agreement of putting together, workers will contribute 5 cents, employers will contribute 5 cents. We can basically begin to sit down and look ways and means of actually setting up a short-time fund. On the labor brokers, which you will know that we have fought very hard to try and ban through the strike. We couldn't win that particular demand, but we have dealt with abuses that have been happening in the industry, because our members already are able to get same wages, same benefits, but look, you would have a situation where it's easy to dismiss those workers who work for labor brokers. We have secured that in the council there will be a person employed by the bargaining council who will basically monitor that there is no abuse. The Department of Labor, through the strike, also committed to have an ombudsman who will basically monitor. Disciplinary hearing for those workers will be done in the secondary employer where they would be working now, unlike somebody just phone a labor broker and say, we don't need this worker here, and the worker get dismissed.
All right, let's talk now from Seifsa's point of view. Can you afford this?
Well, affordability is indeed a big question. It was debated at length, and that is why we started off with the 6.1% when we, on the day when this Statistics South Africa indicated that CPI was at that rate, we moved to 8%. We are where we are now. We are delighted that there is in place an agreement that sees people returning to work. The damage that the economy was suffering in the metals and engineering sector, in related sectors, was quite immense.
Yeah.
But clearly, affordability is an issue. 63%, there are those who repeatedly say SAIFSA represents big companies. Yes, we do have big companies, some of them listed within the fold, but 63% of our members are small companies employing no more than 50 people. Yeah. And so affordability is an issue. But we do hope that over the next few weeks and months, it will be possible for the employers and their employees to find one another and to see what it is that they can do to recoup lost profits and lost production, and to make sure that they improve productivity and competitiveness domestically and internationally.
There's also reports that some of these smaller companies are not going to be able to afford this, and that they might have to just keep their doors closed and not allow the workers back. I mean, that can't be a victory. Yeah,
absolutely. What we have is associations that each have chairpersons. They come to our council. So all of the companies are represented by the various associations. They have been party to the discussions that took place. And so the approval of the ministerial proposal and the compromise on Section 37 was done by the associations. So all of the companies, big and small, are represented in the respective associations that were party to the discussions yesterday, and indeed on a weekly basis.
Yeah. Irvin, I'm shouted at, the time is up, but one thing you have to talk about is the behavior of some of your members and how they conducted the strike.
Well, in every strike, the union take back lessons. One of the things that as a union we never promote is violence and intimidation. We have indeed, during the strike, at the beginning, serious reports about intimidation and violence. We acted on the spot. We call on our members to be in charge of their own strike, because the failure to do so would be to give ammunition to those who do not like that there is a strike, to stigmatize the strike. However, I think we, having drawn lesson from this one, as an organization, we got 3 years, we would have to train workers to understand how to defend the strike, and the fact that violence cannot be accepted. And from where we stand, there has been many opportunists who basically infiltrated the strike for various reasons. But I think after, as a union, we came out and condemned violence in all its forms, there has been a kind of a peaceful strike where members basically took their strike into their own hands.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen, I wish I had longer. I don't. Thank you for joining us. I'm glad it's over. Let's get the economy back into motion. Let's get the workers back, and let's earn some money. Thanks for talking to us here on the program. Irvin Jim, of course, he is from Numsa, and we've also got Kaizer Nyatsumba, who is from SAIFSA. Gentlemen, again, thank you for being our guests.